Hello, everyone, and welcome to the daily newspaper analysis, which is brought to you by LawSikho. Let's get started with our discussion for the day. We have an editorial from the Hindu newspaper. The title is Gyanvapi and the Principle of Non-Retrogression. So there has been this principle of non-retrogression that has been talked about. What is it? We'll see in this article. Then we have the news updates and legal news for the day. Let's start our discussion. So this talks about that the Supreme Court of India must ensure the continuity of the doctrine of principle of or the doctrine of non-retrogression. So let's see actually what exactly is the principle of non-retrogression. So the primitive approach in modern societies necessitated that the doctrine of progressive realization or non-retrogression be realized. Here, we need to understand it word by word when we talk about retro. So generally when we say that this kind of dressing is a retro dressing or the retro hero, the retro cinema. So whenever the term retro is used, it primarily affects or it primarily explains as something that is of primitive nature. Now, when we talk about aggression, so usually it is considered to be as the movement. So when we talk about retrogression, so it is movement towards the primitive times. But when we talk about the principle of non-retrogression, it would mean to something that we should not be moving backwards or in towards the primitive times. And similar is the thing that has been considered for law as well, wherein it says that in the current societies, in the modern societies, if at all there is any kind of evidence that we are moving towards the primitive society, the primitive system of the legal society, then it should be made sure that we are thinking and realizing the principle of non-retrogression. So the doctrine of progressive realization of rights means, which is exactly the the meaning of non-retrogression. It would mean to mandate that the laws of a country should be in consonance with its modern ethos, and it should be sensible and easy to apply. A very good example of this is the recent one that we were talking about, sedition. That is section 124A. When we talked about the scrapping of section 377, that was when the homogeneity was criminalized. So all of these things are in a way coming up with the demand of the society, and they are trying to keep as dynamic as possible. We all know that if at all there is any law that is primitive in nature and that does not find its place in the modern ethos or the modern structure of the society, they definitely will not be followed in the right sense. And that is why the principle of non-retrogression says that we should not be moving backwards, and whatever laws we are making should be progressive in nature. They should be forward looking instead of being backward looking. So simply put together, once the court or legislature has recognized a right, the same cannot be rolled backwards or it cannot be reverted, and is used especially in the cases where the court has made substantial interpretation of a law. So if at all something has been left to the interpretation of the law and has been left to the court, so it should be made sure that the court is interpreting a particular law towards the progressive side instead of getting towards the regressive side. The same has also been upheld in Article 2, Clause 1 of the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, to which India also is a signatory. The Supreme Court, in the case of Navtej Singh Johar, which was the most important case when we talk about Section 377, so it held that in a progressive and an ever improving society, there is no place for retreat, which means there is no place for a backward movement, and hence a state should not take measures that deliberately lead to retrogression. Also in the Babri Masjid Act 2019, the Supreme Court judgment, the court held that the foundational feature of the fundamental constitutional principles of which secularism is a core component, and hence that the same should be protected. So further an approach down these lines will only cause communal disharmony given India's demographic, and that is why we should make sure that we are moving only towards the forward direction. Let's see what do we have for the news updates today. Firstly, Bengal to set chief minister as the head of all the universities. The West Bengal government will be introducing a bill in the assembly to make the chief minister the chancellor of the state-run universities in place of the governor. So till now, general trend, everyone, is that the governor is considered to be as the chancellor of the state-run universities. But that will not be the case when it comes to the state-run universities in Bengal, since now chief minister will be the head or the chancellor. So the education minister said that the state cabinet has given its nods to the proposal. Secondly, we've already covered it before, but now finally it has taken place. Vinay Kumar Saxena sworn in as the 22nd Lieutenant Governor of Delhi. So Vinay Kumar Saxena, who was the chairman of the Khadi and Village Industries Commission, was appointed as Delhi's new Lieutenant Governor after Anil Baijal resigned from the position. Let's see what do we have for the legal updates today. Firstly, plaintiff is not entitled to return of the court fees when the parties are referred to arbitration under Section 8 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act, according to the Delhi High Court. So this has been held in the case of A1 Realtors Private Limited versus Energy Efficiency Services Limited. Secondly, Real Estate Appellate Authority cannot initiate moto proceedings, says the Delhi High Court. So while stating the same, the Delhi High Court held that the Appellate Tribunal is a creation of statute and not an authority recognized as being vested with inherent powers. And this was held by the Delhi High Court in the case of Praveen Chhabra versus Real Estate Appellate Tribunal. Now, here is a question for you all. You can all pause the video and let me know, what do you understand by moto cognizance? If you know, please let me know in the comment section below. That was all for the day. We hope you liked the session. If you did, you may like it and also subscribe to our channel. Also, if you want to download the PDF of today's slides, you can join our Telegram channel for the same. The link is there in the description box below. Thank you so much.